Alright, bows and bow ties, black opinionated woman, also known as a bow. So look, I was originally going to talk about how my daughter is undateable, but I think I'm going to do that in another video. But I want to talk about how my daughter is living in a house with a bunch of men. She's got 3 brothers, a dad, and myself. And this is the thing. My daughter is a people pleaser sometimes, and I am trying to make sure she understands the difference between helping and enabling. Now, 2 of the 3 brothers are they're a mess. Like, her twin is something else. Okay, she's got a twin brother. I am trying to get her to understand that sometimes her brothers just have to catch the wrath of mom. So, for example, I will, levy consequences if the room looks like a tornado. If I say this room needs to be clean, or there will be no devices or whatever, right? Them being upset is not her concern. If I say you need to be downstairs in the morning and your lunch needs to be made, because I'm not making their lunch. I think sometimes she wants to be helpful, and I don't have a problem with that until it becomes all the time. I'm trying to get her to understand that we are helpmates, but we are not here to be enslaved to anyone. They are highly capable young men. They can make their own sandwiches and snacks and water bottles for school. But I think sometimes, because she probably feels like, okay, mom is getting ready to set it off, I think she wants to mitigate that, and I get it. But I'm like, what she'll do is she'll try to make sure that she takes care of certain things for them. But I think she's learning now, like, I gotta save yourself. So I think this morning was one of the first times she finally was just like, you know what? I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to sit back and watch my brothers just bring mom's wrath upon themselves. So, my oldest, he went to high school. He's fine. My middle schooler, I think he caught a clue this morning. He was like, let me get my life together. But then there's that twin. He likes to pretend that he's incapable of doing anything. And being that my daughter and her brother, the twins, they are close, even though every once in a while they're close, I think she'll try to protect at times, but no more. My point to this is, I'm trying to teach my daughter, because she's living in a house full of men, that both men and women can be helpful to each other. It doesn't mean you don't have to help out men. I do certain things for my husband, and in turn he'll do certain things for me. For example, I do all the laundry. Occasionally I'll have to do some of the cleaning if we don't have a service come through, etc. But my husband does the cooking most of the time. He doesn't leave it for me, right? Because, we're both running kids around. We're both working. There's all kinds of things that have to happen. In order for the house to run in a manner that is efficient, it cannot all rest on me, especially with 4 children. And I also work. So my husband, he pitches in and ensures that dinner is made, because I put my kids on the bus, right? I'm trying to show her what partnership looks like. If I wait to get them on the bus, well, my husband goes in really early so that he can get home in time, and my kids can come home on their own, but he likes to be home to make sure that he's helping out with the homework, and he starts dinner. There are times when I come home and I pick up from where he left off with the homework and etc. I'll be running my daughter to her practice today. My husband gets the night off tonight from running practice. He went last night so that I can stay home and help my son, my middle schooler, with some math. Where I'm going with this is partnership, and she has to see that it's not her job to be everything for everyone. My husband, I know at one point noticed that she was trying to do too much. He was like, no, have a seat. Your brothers can do this. They can clean this kitchen. You don't have to clean the kitchen. It's their turn. They can empty the dishwasher. They can sweep the floor. Well, she doesn't take out the trash. My boys take out the trash. But I think my biggest thing was, it was really important for my daughter to see that she doesn't have to be everything. But it's also important for my sons to see that they have to be something, right? They don't get to just be nothing. They don't get to just have people wait on them. I believe that that's part of the problem in our community and in our families. I believe our young men are not held to any standards. They are not accountable for anything. I still think my boys could be accountable for more. But I think the biggest thing is, like, I'm teaching my daughter, like, wait a second. It's not your job to, well, I'll just clean this up. I'll just do this. No. If they made the mess, they clean it up. They can sweep. They can wipe off the table. They can empty the dishwasher. They can put the dishes away. They can clean up the counters. They can take out the trash. My daughter I just don't want her to be the kind of person who feels that she has to fix everything. Sometimes people have to feel the consequences of their actions. And I know it's easier to fix, but I'm like, well, no, sometimes it's got to be tough. Anyway, I just wanted to say, for those of you out there who are raising daughters around brothers and dads and stuff like that, do not make your daughter, well, it's not my business, but I'm just saying, I would not suggest raising your daughter to feel like she's got to be the fixer all the time. We've really been trying to neutralize that. I'm like, you don't have to fix everything. Your brothers have to be accountable too. I went in the room this morning and their room looked crazy. And I'm like, if people saw this room, they would think that there was some sort of weirdness going on, or some sort of abuse or something. Like I'm like, there's no reason for this room to look like this. My room doesn't look like it. My high schooler, his room can be a little unkept, but his room doesn't look like that, and my daughter's room doesn't look like that. So for the other boys, their room to look like Who Shot John, I was like, this is too much. They have to be held accountable. It is not my job to go in there and clean their room. It's their job to go in there and clean their room. I think I was ready to lose it. Like, you know how they say cats have 9 lives? Well, I don't know. I felt like if I had 9 lives, they were trying to snatch the last one, because I almost lost it today. And then their laundry, I had folded for them, even though it's their job. I'm like, come get your laundry. And they tried to, well, one child in particular tried to give me the business. And I'm like, if you don't come in here and get this laundry. Anyway, I just feel like with my daughter, she just needs to know that men can be helpful too. But she also needs to know that she should be protected, right? She doesn't have to, I get on my husband sometimes because he'll play with my daughter and wrestle and everything. That's so fine and good. I'm like, no, she's a girl. You're not gonna, and I know that, like, we say we shouldn't, like, treat boys and girls that differently, but they are different. And so there's times I'm like, no, cut that out. And I'll get on my daughter. I'm like, no, you're not some dude. Cut it out. Like, she's getting to the point now where you don't need to be being super physical with boys. When you were younger, I didn't care, but you're getting older. We're not going to be out here in these streets acting like you're a full-on boy. Cut it out. Anyway, there's so much that goes into raising a daughter around a bunch of brothers and a dad. And I played a lot of sports. I mean, I was very athletic, but even still, I still have my femininity too. And I'm trying to make sure she understands there's a difference. So anyway, there's just multiple layers to this conversation. The main thing was, I didn't want her to think like she was going to enable bad behavior and try to fix everybody. That's her personality. No. Number two, you're not going to be able to do the same things as the boys do all the time, as far as like some of the weirdo wrestling type things, right? Like, I get it. And I've even had to have a conversation with my husband. I'm like, you cannot play with her the way you do with our boys. You need to stop. And so I think he's gotten better too. Now, let me just say this. My daughter really is the apple of her daddy's eye. Like, yeah. So, but yeah, anyway, that's it. This is slightly, I don't want to call it a ramble or anything like that, but that was what was on my mind. I do want to talk about how I think I might be possibly raising I can't get the words out, an undateable daughter, because I think she's going to be very spoiled. Not bratty, but spoiled. I think the standard of what she's seeing in her dad is going to be hard to meet in our community. I don't think there are too many men right now that would measure up. I don't see too many men that are productive. Like, she's used to traveling the world. She's used to living a decent life. Or not wealthy. She's used to getting a good education and playing sports. She feels protected. She feels safe. So I think it's going to be tough for her to date somebody, but that's for another video. But my daughter's young, by the way, so we got plenty of time. All right, that's it.